Welcome back. We are into now the last heat of round 2, heat 12, featuring Connor Coffin, a surfer, the only surfer on the championship tour, has worked as a boatman here on Tabarua, so has plenty of experience in this lineup, and he is up against Davey Cathels, who's been an impressive rookie.
He's put some muscle on, so now there's more oomph behind his turns.
Well, here we go. The early stages of this heat have been quiet, and Davey swings on this one. That wave looked like it was always going to shut down, but Connor's got to be careful there. Pushing that water in is a very dangerous game to play. The Californian now has priority, and he starts to link together a couple of decent turns. Really enjoyed the power and commitment to the rail that Connor has brought in 2016.
I think so. I think Brad, probably picked up on the fact that that's his natural ability. It seems very easy for Connor to produce those types of turns. It's a healthy respect for that brand of surfing from Connor, so they're flowing with it. He's not fighting it, but as I mentioned, he can mix it up. But out here at Cloudbreak, in the Pacific with this kind of raw energy, it's welcomed. That's the style of surfing you want to see.
Even placings on the ratings, both in 17th position. I think fairly evenly matched out here. Davey grew up at North Narrabeen. Davey just in electric form down there. And even though Bells isn't one of Medina's favourite stops on the schedule, he has quarterfinal there in the past, so it was a strong performance in really sizey, tricky conditions.
It was big. It was not easy to kind of put together a good routine on a wave, and I think that's what makes Davey Cathels' surfing so relevant. He knows how to connect 3 or 4 turns on that type of wave, whereas Gabriel Medina kind of on his backhand had to fetch that creativity that was really hard for him out there. A lot of times on your backhand at Bells, you'll get up to the top and kind of go for that same type of maneuver. So for Gabriel Medina, I think he was a little bit shocked, because he probably went into that heat, Ronnie, thinking, oh, I got this kid.
Unfortunately for Medina, he also broke his leg rope, or it came undone in that heat, and it took him out of the lineup for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, it never helps your routine. You just get a little frazzled, start feeling rushed and panicky. There's that finishing maneuver from Davey Cathels, solid right there on the bricks.
Davey Cathels a little bit too far out. Connor Coffin without priority. He jumps on this inside section, but gets caught up in the lip. Finds his way back to that green wall, tucks into the barrel, but doesn't get the exit. That is really shallow in there.
That can get done in 5 minutes.
All right, well, here goes Davey Cathels. He gets an opportunity to get even a mediocre score on the board. Will be good. Nice little snap to get started. Climbs vertically on the foam. Doing well here at the moment. And bashes that lip. Sending up a nice big fan. Plants that floater. Solid finish. Connor Coffin let that wave go. Was that a smart decision?
Yeah, I think that was a mistake for sure. It'll go flat for 10, 15 minutes, and all of a sudden the waves will turn on. So hopefully we'll get that here to close this heat out. Let's see what Davey gets done. There is that big rib that cut through it. I think that's what Connor saw, but you can see that wave settled down. I really liked that foam climb. It was kind of a riskier maneuver than it appears to the eye. You just never know quite how your board's going to react to that foam as you're climbing it, and he made it look really easy. It's going to be a decent score, Ronnie.
And it's willing him on to big finishes in 2016. 13 minutes to go here. We've got a line approaching. Connor Coffin is still holding priority, and he's trying desperately to get into this wave. Gets a little caught up, but he does get himself into this wall. Not a high impact start to this ride, but now making up for it with a couple of big hits on the inside. Just a little hung up there and goes down as a result. Davey caught his last wave, and Connor was out the back. He paddled for a ride, didn't quite get into it. He didn't lose priority because he was still at the takeoff zone, but obviously he didn't make that adjustment to the inside for the next ride, as we see Cathels on a pretty decent looking wall and bashing away at this wall right through to the inside. He kicks out. This should see him into the lead, but I don't know how high the judges will go with this number. This is definitely the biggest set we've seen in the final heat of round 2, the last heat of the day, as Connor Doesn't have to think too long at all about this ride. Good looking wall standing up out in front of him. Just carves that board under the lip and drives up into the pocket once again. Wants more on the inside, falling out of the sky there. And he's just relieved to finish off a decent set wave. He probably knows that set offered up some bigger sections. I don't think he did the best surfing he can do, but he's going to get a score on the board.
By the time he got to the money spot, you know, right in that perfect spot to crack the lip, it was the third maneuver. So right here, see how cruisy he is? He gets down to the bottom. Now he's forced to do that under the lip. Kind of missing some points there. Okay snap right here, and then the third turn is the best one, but by that time, the wave is already kind of shut down. So definitely leaving a couple of points on the board there. Just being a little cruisy as he paddled in, but that wave was a gem.
This is going to be such a close finish to this heat. We see that replay once again from the angle of the channel.
If he could have that wave over, for sure he would have paddled in with a lot more urgency, gotten to the shoulder quicker.
Davey Cathels looks sharp on his 5.83 as we check out the heat recap. Connor just making up for it. In the opening stages, he had a 5.67 on his first wave.
Well, I thought the start was solid from Connor. You know, he had to fish through this, or he had to look around for that wave, just a 5.67. But I liked his attention level. You know, he was hounding the lineup, looking around. Same with Davey Cathels. Pretty similar start for him, 5.83. And so we're thinking, okay, you know, this is going to be a really grindy heat. A couple of weird mistakes there with priority for Connor Coffin. But you can't argue the fact that it put him in rhythm for this wave right here easily. I mean, maybe twice as good as any wave we've seen come through in this heat. A little bit of a tentative effort. I thought he kind of cruised in as he paddled, which put him off rhythm. But the wave was such a gem that he still got a 7.5.
That he got himself onto a decent wall. But here goes Cathels now. He's using priority for this ride and needs a 7.35 to get himself into the lead. Tucks into the barrel for a moment and just gets knocked off on the exit. And this is going to work out well for the Californian. And he wants to be there. It's not ideal out there today, but you just got to get the job done, and I think Connor will be feeling the same way. He really loved the opportunity to impress us at Cloudbreak with some size, but today he is grinding, and on that occasion he pushes hard on a little backhand snap.
Because it's been sort of a messy heat.
Cathels up once again, bit of wall to work with. Nice little transition snap. He's going to grab that rail and tuck in for some cover. Doesn't get too deep though. Needs some big turns here. Throws everything at that last section and nosedives on the exit.
Got the nails to come out of the water, but instead he let off the gas a little bit, second guessed himself, and he purled. And had he made that last maneuver, it could have been that 7.5 he was looking for. Just an okay barrel, but right here's where the wave got really gutty. It had that really tight transition, and you could see he just wanted to finish it. So because he was tentative, you know, he didn't have that proper pressure on the deck of the board to really come out of that maneuver with that projection he needed. And again, he's going to feel so relieved because that was, as I mentioned, a pretty messy heat. Sometimes those feel better than when you stomp a heat because you're like, whew, just got the job done, and he'll survive for the next swell.
Well, messy heat for both competitors, really, and I think they both were very aware of their position on the ratings, the fact that so many surfers above them had dropped out of the draw in the second round. As Davey congratulates Connor Coffin there, and a heat score total of 13.17 for the 22-year-old from California, Santa Barbara.